With WordPress 3.0 came the introduction of custom menus. This function allows the site administrator to quickly and easily create, edit, and organize multi-tiered menus from right within the WordPress admin panel. By default, the 2010 theme comes with one menu installed, the header menu. Any other menus would have to be added as sidebar widgets. That's kind of boring. There's no reason why we can't have more customizable menus in the child theme, for example, in a custom menu in the footer. And that's what we're going to do in this movie. But first, I'm just going to show you something really neat that we built into this demo theme. By default, we have the regular menus that we have here under Appearance, Menu, and we can add menu items to it. But what I've done is, I've created menu items where you can add extra content. So for instance, on the home page, if we go in and put in a little bit of HTML here, put in a bracket and say span, which is just a regular span in HTML, and then say the home of Hansel amp pedal, and then end the span, save the menu, and then assign it to the primary navigation, you'll see that the header menu now has the home button with the subtitle on it. And you can actually go in and add subtitles to all of these main menu items simply by adding a span, and the span will then display it like this in a small font with lowercase. But that's besides the point. What we want to do here is add a new menu that we can add somewhere else in the site. And for that, we have to go to the actual code. First, let's find where the original menu was generated. We can go into the 2010 theme, go into Functions, and then scroll down to line 98. On line 98, you find this, Register Nav Menus, and then there's an array, and then it says Primary Navigation 2010. This is the actual call for the menu. So if we want to create a new menu, we can simply copy this code, Control-C, and then go into our functions file inside the new cool, scroll to the bottom, and just paste that same code in. Now, of course, this is just going to add the primary menu that we already have. I want to add a new menu, so I'll simply copy this line of text here, primary navigation, copy it, and paste in a second one, and then call it something else. Something else like footer. And then I'll give it a name, footer navigation, and save it. And now, when we go back to the admin panel and reload it, you'll see that we now have primary navigation and footer navigation as an option. But what if we want to change primary navigation to something else, something more descriptive, like header navigation? If we go back here and simply change primary to header, and then change the title to header, you'll see something strange happen. If we reload it now, and click Continue, you'll see we now have header navigation, footer navigation, and primary navigation. That's because we are now creating a new menu instead of overwriting the original menu. If we want to get rid of the primary navigation, we actually have to create a call to remove it. Like with almost everything else inside WordPress, there's actually a function to remove it. So just like we have register nav menus, we also have a function called unregister nav menus. So what I'm going to do here is build a function that will then remove the primary menu. First, I'll build the function itself, and I'll call it the new cool remove default menu. And then I'll write what happens inside the function, which is unregister nav menu. And I'll define the actual menu I want to get rid of, which is primary. Now, because this is a function, I also have to call the function with an action. So I'll add an action. And this action is going to happen after setup theme. The action is the tnc remove default menu. And I want it to call at 11. So you see, this is very much like how we removed all the default images. It's just that we're now talking about menus instead of default header images. If I now simply save this page and reload the admin page, you'll see that we now only have header navigation and footer navigation. And that's what we wanted. So now we've taken control of all the menus on our site by replacing the primary navigation with the header navigation and also adding a second navigation, which is the footer navigation.